Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sognsdal Saga series of Crusader Kings 3. Honestly, I almost forgot the name of that series because I've been gone for so long, which some of you are probably thinking I've probably burnt out and just don't want to record any more of this series and move on to something else. Well, I was kind of almost getting to that, but I feel that I have some unfinished business of that series, such as that one major goal that I've yet to complete, which is secure the High Kingdom in the North Sea. He's been ruling for about 5 years now, so it's relatively early in his reign. And so in order to get all this, gotta get up to the 4th level of fame, which is illustrious, which is easy to get. But the hard part is hold Norway, England, and Denmark for 30 years. Well, 25 years more now you need. You need to rule for another 25 years. And he's 30 years old, which means, yeah, he could make it, but I like it to make sure that he stays healthy at all times. You may never know that somewhere in his reign he's going to get dysentery, smallpox, cancer, anything like that. I'm just throwing names of diseases here. Let me take a drink. And also, we're nowhere near the high medieval culture. And after those 30 years, we'll go feudal. And all that, and that will change a lot of things. For our culture, at least. And before we continue that series, unless I can continue but do it at a slower speed so I can get, focus on something. And also, I added just one little mod that I added because during my time off, I was looking for any new mods, and also you got to make sure that the mods are up to date before you get back into this series and all that. No, I was just making sure if I have any friends that are of a different faith, because it's this little mod that I got, which involves, well, using a little. It's kind of like the duel / playing a board game with somebody. So it's more like a board game thing where you got to pick the right move to speak in order to, let's say you got a friend that's of a completely different faith. I mean, I'm of Norse faith, and we're using, this person, for example, who's a Vidalist. Like, if you two are friends, then you can challenge them to a little a debate. And so, if it's a loss, then he stays with his faith. But if you win the debate, he converts. Yeah, it's just a little mod of that, but although he can't do that but I believe it can only be done with Courtiers. I'm just throwing a name here. That is all. So it's something that I didn't do much reading on. It's just I thought to myself, that looks, rather interesting to have if one were to pass the time, a few discussions and all that. But anyways, let's let time tick along, and then we'll talk about a couple of things of what's relevant here, and by here I mean CK3, and in its future, its near future. And also I decided to marry this person because she's beautiful, and a poet too, and a gardener. Great to have. Once I get done discussing, I'm going to either romance or seduce her. Just let me talk here. This is rather pretty important. As you know, I've been doing this series since months ago, probably back in November, if I remember correctly. When did I start? Because it was due to that one of the mods I use, which remains, the key cornerstone to some of my video series of CK3, which is the Rice mod, the Regional Immersion and Cultural Enrichment mod, where have these flavor packs of certain regions around the world, around the known world. And obviously the latest ones were in, Khwarezmia, and another down in Khuzestan. But its upcoming rice flavor pack, which will Probably come in a few weeks or so after this time of recording. But though, it's going to be too late for this series to be of any relevance. And that's all about Normandy. Yeah, Normandy gets its flavor pack. Yeah, Normandy here. So it involves, you know, the Normans, including the time before the Normans, where if you're playing as a French ruler or whoever's, particularly the French king, where you bring in these Norse settlers to settle in Normandy, and it gives you the option to play as the Normans and all that. And yes, you could play, Duke Rollo of Normandy, who would come in at that time. And plus, Normandy is also its own struggle region, much like how we've been doing with the colonization of Greenland here. Yeah, sure, why not? But again, there's a lot more that I wish I had the notes of me, because I should have taken the notes. But anyways, that's something that you ought to look forward to in the future. I don't know about here in this channel of the Normandy flavor pack, as much as I know that obviously there'll be more flavor packs to come this year, coming from Cibrix Khan, the creator of the mod, along with VIET and all the other mods that were previously seen on Crusader Kings 2, like VIET Vents Reborn, and those little flavor packs such as Amalfi, Peloponnese, Haran, Pamir, and Don Juan, that I can remember. Purchase a truce with Veliko Moravska. Well, you're gonna pay me more money. That's fine. Stuff keeps on the march. At the end of a field exercise, it seemed a brilliant idea. To practice regrouping an army in disarray, I split my troops and ordered every officer to independently make their way to Trondheim. Of course, by the third day of waiting, with only half of my army in place, I'm now seeing the flaws in the plan. Sven suggests that I ride out the contingent of Vinga to find the missing troops, while the rest of the army turns home. This might take a while, but it'll be an exciting search nonetheless. Right. What else do I have in mind? I mean, obviously this is a little chain event, so I might get distracted, obviously, so we'll just let the chain event just go, roll in, and among other things. Yeah, besides the flavor packs, well, before we do talk about that, I can hear an absolute ruckus coming from a roadside tavern, and my Ningar kicks open the door, revealing a room full of my wayward soldiers. My arrival makes them fall silent and stare down into their tankards with nary a word between them. The proprietor narrows his eyes. So, you're responsible for this rabble. Well, I got enough coin to pay the damages, so dealing with rowdy soldiers is easier than a rowdy innkeep. Let's continue my search. You know where I make my money from? We don't make, well, we do make money, but not much. We take money. Loot. What converts to cash? Actually, what you say is actually a bit more sense. Yes, you know currency, but it's not the early medieval era yet where we would know coinage again. When my outriders brought news of the little encampment, I did not expect to find soldiers still practicing their battle formations. It seems that my half-sister Melkorka took it upon herself to continue the field exercise while waiting for word from the main army. Her troops line up neatly as I ride up to meet her. Those were not the orders I gave. But anyways, oh, and also I'm currently doing an Imperator Rome series. Yes, Lord Mass is back on Imperator Rome. In case you are not aware, if somehow you don't keep up with my channel, that I've been doing an ongoing Imperator Rome Invictus series featuring Sogdia. Yes, the same culture that you've seen once in that one series I did, the Egypto-Sogdians. Approaching the ocean, I spotted camp pitched on the shores. As I entered, I'm met by the sergeant in charge. My lord, our water stores leaked while on the move, and our pack animals cannot make much home without more water than we currently have. The soldier looks at me nervously. If the Lord and the finger helped carry water skins, however. If this is the only way, the disgrace of water, carrying water for meals. No, in Norse culture, they ought to be happy to lift such things. Passing through the small village, I noticed that through clad in simple cloth, the town's guards are all carrying weapons with my mark on them. Walking me into the muddy streets was Gina, the self-proclaimed divine guardian of the town. My soldiers had laid down arms to help this preacher serve Odin. Help this preachers serve Odin. These soldiers better remember that I was chosen by Odin according to divine plan. Yes, Kingdom of the North Sea. The High Kingdom of the North Sea. That's what they were talking about here. So again, it's like, yeah. The Sogdians are back again in the Lord Master channel, but on Imperator Rome. We're doing a series on that, in which will be concurrently with this ongoing series, even though I feel like I'm kind of phasing it out slowly in favor of the other series. The last of my troops have made it back to Trondheim, and order has been restored. While this was hardly a display of military brilliance, I have gained new perspective on my army and the individual soldiers which is composed of it. It was a valuable exercise after all. Raid speed could go much faster. Now, anyways, where were we? Trying to think of my mind. It's like I already told you, Normandy, Imperator Rome, Sogdia. What else do I have in mind in the future? Oh yes, and as of this day of recording, it was March 6th, in which the day by day I mean Paradox Interactive has announced a new upcoming DLC, which will be released in late spring, which would mean early June, likely, which is called Tours and Tournaments. Yeah. Yes, Tours and Tournaments, which aims to give rulers plenty of things to do, especially during times of peace, which they will introduce, the new systems of travel and grand activities. Like, say, I'm here in Trondheim, that I want to go, survey the realm. Like, say, I'm going to travel through there, all the way back to the ancestral home of Sognsdal Saga, and there back again. Just saying that as an example. So you get to survey the realm, so to speak. And you can assemble an entourage, hire a caravan master, and all that. So, and plus that also means that they will add regencies. Not like the regencies little mod that I'm using here. Oh, I forgot to tell you people. The community flavor pack mod has been updated recently. And I know this is kind of late in this part of the series since we're going to go feudal soon, and so the overall look is going to change. This is for northern tribal governments only. Now this is what we call a proper tribal court, but it's a longhouse, what it looks like. So before I, address this man, before I gotta go talk to this man, look around. I mean, all of the artifacts are still there in their places. So here's the wide balance view. In fact, hide the UI in just a second. See? It's what a typical Norse longhouse looks like, but it's available for not just Norse cultures and its successors, but anybody that lives in the northern part of Europe. So that would mean Sami, Finns, Karelians would probably have them too. So yes, this is all new. Yeah. Now, there's a wide balance view. Now here's the left wall view. As you can see the court artifacts. That's yeah, we made a move again. And plus all these people who would usually be standing in the middle, but now they all stand on that side with that little floor there. And here's the overhead view, which again, kind of like this. And there's the elevated wide view. Which, yes, these pedestal items are there. And that one statue that we got from India. And then there's the throne view. These two books here. Little shield, house or dynasty banner. Still got that big old throne as compared to the little throne. And there's the rear wall view, which you're going to see more if that damn man's blocking the way. And there's the right wall view, finally. Yeah. So yeah, this was from a recently updated community flavor pack mod, and that's another reason why I just came back here. Just that little thing. But now, what do you want? I think I found a reason why some days are more rat-free than the others, friend. Oh, Stefan happily declares that he moves aside and reveals a servant holding a very displeased cat. It wriggles in an attempt to free itself from the scratched up arms of the servant, meowingly in a rather endearing fashion. I say this is one successful rat hunter. In fact, it was in the middle of the wrestling match with a fat one when we found it. What say, should we adopt this cat? Of course, I'd love a feline companion. Don't you know the Norse have favorable views towards cats? Now, the cat. As the cat rests on my lap, contentedly purring, I wonder what should I know? Something historical, like alluding to his white fur? Something to describe this feeling I experience when I scratch him behind the ear? Oh, I know, I will name him Snow. Now, listen, I'll be sure in future reference, in a future series, if I ever get a pet dog, pet cat event, I need to start listing pet names. I mean, there is a mod out there that they do have a list of randomized names for dogs, but they haven't been working on it for cats. So I would, add that. So before we increase the speed of the game, I'm trying to remember what else. Yes, the upcoming DLC. So yeah, that means they will overhaul and revamp. Revamp's proper. Updated and revamped feasts, hunts, and pilgrimages, especially pilgrimages, which will become epic journeys. Like say, say if you are playing a character from Holy Roman Empire somewhere, and you want to go to Jerusalem, all the way down there, it'll take you a year or so to get there on foot. So yes, they're going to have that kind of travel instead of just, what we've been seeing in the past couple of series and a couple of other playthroughs for you people who not only watch mine, but everyone else's too. And also, if you're invited to the feast, which I get that very often, to go from one place to the other, yep, there'll be some travel events to get from one place over the other too. And as well as hunts, like now you have an absolute reason of why you decide to go hunt in a forest in your domain rather than up in the mountains here. Just randomly picked. And no matter where you travel, a regency will rule in this stead. So. And yeah, they will also have grand tournaments, and as well as grand weddings. With, you know, again, it's just something you need to look up on the dev diary. I mean, I can't do it justice by telling you all the details of what I've read recently, but I suggest you people look it up yourself on the recent dev diary, unless you saw it on a live stream briefly before they give it more detail on the dev diary. And I'm sure the next, well, in fact, the next few months, April, May, and into June, you'll start seeing a bunch of dev diaries where it'll talk about every little new feature, which will save me time to try to talk about it rather than speculate on it. But anyways, let's hold court. Two of my vassals are pushing one another, adjusting and reaching my throne first. Your Balthazar, boss of them. My lord, murder is wanted in the city streets throughout the record of Norway. Though it would be civilized if we instituted a ban on the townspeople bearing arms, at least within city limits. Instead, I kicks them out of the way. Safety is each man learn to protect himself. Banning to carry weapons will castrate the townspeople. Might makes right here. We shall solve this safety debate with violence. Obvious is obvious. Overfield. My heralds announced the arrival of a neighboring petty ruler, Jodning Esa of Lanarkshire. She enters the halls of dignity and bows to you. Your Grace, I've come to humbly pledge my realm to you, if you will accept my terms. I will serve you as a vassal lord of Norway in exchange for protection. May our two great houses both prosper by the arrangement. One second, where are you from? Oh, over there. You got it. I think these terms are a bit one-sided. Start off with normal. Refuses. Over the last few days, I heard tell of a mighty hero of the peasantry who won the hearts and minds of the common people through incredible deeds and matchless bravery. This hero, who goes by the name of Vilmunda, has been defending the small folk from the English raiders, and has now traveled all the way to Trondheim to seek an audience with me. There is no doubt that he is a great hero, however my court is adamant that I do not elevate a commoner beyond this station. Shall we reward the place in my household? I'm supposed to click on that first before you get going. So yeah, that's the future for Crusader Kings 3 is just, there's an upcoming flavor pack from one mod, and then there's a big DLC that's coming in a few months. Wife pregnant. And, so this would add plenty of interest. Plenty of interest to do that. And also regarding the future of Crusader Kings on my channel, I mean, I haven't done much of Crusader Kings 3 on a weekly basis as much as like I used to. A small part of that was me being burnt out, and of course had COVID back in the first half of January, which also kind of delayed it as of my recording plans as well. And had Fiend. And of course the new Imperator Rome series that's also in my YouTube channel, which I'm having a great time with that, to be real honest. I gotta start swaying that man. Actually, no, befriend. He's a vat. Never mind. Okay, this way then. White stone constructed. Yes. I remember now. These set of buildings. Now we're going to turn this to a palisade temple. A simple wooden temple constructed on a series of post holes partly submerged in the wet terrain. So much money to spend on buildings. Like having Lincoln here. Oh, what else stirring in mind? My wife had approached me as I'm sitting by the window. You haven't been since the same since what happened. She doesn't say it, but I know she's referred to and my sister, Laufey, died under mysterious circumstances. Perhaps you need someone to talk to. I could be that, as someone continues gently. Sounds nice. Let's just say, once I'm done with this series, I kind of have a possible plan. I mean, knowing that the DLC is quite a long way away, and I originally had an idea to do another long-term Crusader Kings 3 series, but I'm not really too enthusiastic about that right now. Because I'm just waiting for more, let's just say, a little more rice flavor packs to come. And then now there's this big DLC, which will no doubt change everything, and that'll make all the mods, you know, be out of date, and they'll have to be up to date, which is going to take quite some time. I experience a moment of serene and perfect clarity. Life's just a joke, eh? So I thought about an idea in the future that I might return to Crusader Kings 2 for a series. I mean, I do have an idea for a series, but it'll be a short-term thing regarding you know, type of things. I mean, let's just say I have a bunch of ideas going around in my head. It's just I don't have much of the willpower like I used to. And doing the Imperator Rome series that I'm currently doing in my channel right now, it's just a breath of fresh air because it's the first time that I use Invictus, which is basically an overhaul for a good part of the game to make it feel like it's fresh and new again. But now, with the baby cradle in arms, Jodniga looks at me, head up high in high school. Husband dearest, I think we should name her Ida after me. What do you think? Sure. So again, I just have a bunch of ideas throwing around. It's just I will haven't implement them, and I can't say what faction or nation that I be playing as in a future series. Then I'll be doing that. Again, I'm a man of ideas, but it's going to take some execution to get to those set ideas. Within 4 years, we will have upgraded fortification buildings. And then after that, public works. And the last thing is gas spell. My vassal, Soren, approaches me, rages his eyes and cat his hand, held by the scruff of its neck. He thrusts the cat in my face, and I see that's my dear Snow. I found this little monster among my things. What wasn't scratched to bits was covered in piss. Hey, I'll compensate you. Again, I do have ideas for future series, just don't You people don't give me any suggestions on. I mean, I got it figured out. It's just I need to find the time to do so. And a big part of that, of why I haven't done much as I used to, besides Overhaul, it's also due to, let's just say I found some more interesting things to do in life for me, in my real life and my real passions. It's just I've been finally getting to that, and I'm kind of happy with it. Well, you could say I'm a bit content with what I do in life these days. I'm heading for my chambers to enjoy some pleasant sleep when I hear a faint rustle in the window. Just the wind, I think, until 163. Edo, open up, my morsel. It is I, Brian. Brian. You Norse kid. That's Norwegian. Correct yourself. For the shutters open and lo behold, the man's climbed up the window. What did you just call my wife, you skirt chaser? I'd have you arrested for that, if it was my law. But then again, I'm a patient, generous, and chaste man. Oh, now I found a word that kind of sums it up. The one word I would describe of how I'm feeling right now with, you know, doing this part of the video series, and I got new ideas that I would like to implement them in the future. I think the one word that I found to describe how I'm feeling is complacent. Yeah. But I'm not going to go away anytime soon for this part of the video series, as we still have not completed the major goal that I've set for myself, which would likely be the last major goal, and that is to form the North Sea Empire title. Okay, bring it up in the dictionary, Lord Master. Complacent, which is showing smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievements. Self-satisfied, pleasing oneself, self-approving, going content, satisfied, yeah. Something like that. Something like that. Disillusion faction. I always get huge nerves whenever I see disillusion faction and you're ruling a big country. Because you would think out of all the work that you have done can come crashing down right before your eyes. It seems I'm in dealings with your Sailfoot. I may have accidentally made certain promises and exemptions from obligations. I tried, but I suspect there might not be anywhere. At least by now. You fool! Had to be dramatic here. Also, my brother died. My Jayan brother. At least you left behind a lot of children that will be inheriting parts of India one day. Some of them have already become Jayans. Soon he's about to take over the kingdom. The kingdom of Maharashtra. That is excellent. An Indo-Norse kingdom there. Wonderful. Part of the legacy left behind by, was it Thorun that came? Yes, Thorun Stronga. That was a legacy left behind them. And this would help to increase the renown even further. And sometimes I wish I could, decide to do a little, gee, I don't know. Because after I formed that North Sea Empire, at that point I feel like I've done everything there is to do here. And for you who's been watching some of my Crusader Kings 3 playthroughs on my YouTube channel, you may recall on the very first video series I did when I was the Kingdom of Asturias. Well, it's not there now, but obviously changed hands. And this was obviously long before the Iberian struggle was a thing. Because in that video series I played as Asturias and was able to take all of Hispania, and then we decided to go on crusades with various success and failures until eventually we made a foothold on Jerusalem, Syria, Mesopotamia, Persia, and then we humped it all the way to Sind. And then I decided to do a spin-off series called Bactria, where I played as the Crusader Kingdom of Sind from the same dynasty that ruled Hispania, and then expanded through these lands. I mean, let's go up the Punjab to Kabulistan. Thank you just for talking like that. And then Khorasan was another. Then a big prize, Transoxiana. And from there, we formed the Empire of Bactria, and then later extended into parts of northern India, all the way into Patliputra. But keep in mind, a very early part of that Bactrian series that I did, which is basically the spin-off of the first series, it was a originally Catholic Crusader kingdom before it became Vajrayana Buddhist. Get rid of that. I don't use it. And it was also the only series that I've done. That spin-off series is the only time that I ever fought against the Mongol Empire as Bactria, as Buddhist Bactria with a few Indian allies, and we held the line in Fergana, and especially in its mountain range that leads to Fergana. Epic battles took place there. My goodness. Just gave me some memories where I'm like, I would love to go back to be doing that. But I think I may have a possible idea just to give it some fresh life into this part of the video series. I mean, after all, the series is called the Sognsdal Saga. It's the saga of this dynasty. This isn't always about Norway. Maybe, I mean, I don't know if you people want to consider this to do that as well, is to say, okay, after the North Sea Empire and that whole Greenland struggle thing, especially with that whole thing of trying to get the viability of Vinland up. That's not this screen. It's this screen here. The viability, that's way low. Although it used to be a bit higher, and then we decided to build an outpost in Vinland. We held it for a while before it broke down. Almost true to life, though. When Leif Erikson went there, he made a brief stay there and then decided, let's get out of here. He didn't build an outpost there, but if it was, then his stay was very short. Though I'll surely see many battlefields before I meet my maker. My library holds tales of the war from 100 lifetimes. I recently acquired the tome of the Great Siege of Constantinople, as well as a time-worn scroll written in some ancient language. Who knows what forgotten secrets it holds? Well, attempt to translate the old scroll. Even with the help of the dusty glossary, scroll is reluctant to share its secrets, but I press on. As the night progresses, the most incredible story unfolds before me. By blocking the narrow coastal pass of Thermopylae, the massively outnumbered Greek troops held off Persian army for 7 days. During the last day, King Leonidas was outflanked. He dismissed the bulk of his army and guarded their retreat in a glorious last stand. The heroism of his troops is a testament to the power of a patriotic army defending its native lands. Study the battle. So knowing that in a couple of years, you're going to start seeing some of our dynasty ruling parts of India, South India in particular. So again, ideas to be influenced. Like we know he's going to take over, then some of the other children are going to take over as well in parts of it. And I'm sure there's probably a few other kingdoms that has similar that I may not remember. But I know that Maharashtra is most notable. I believe Tamilakam also has that down the line as well. I don't know, it's something that we ought to look into that in the far future. It's just, I can't remember where besides the other ones that we know of who's going to inherit what. You're going to inherit there, all the way up north. So when he croaks, brother-in-law, and there's already people down there. Yeah. Great auks are a conspicuous presence in much of the Atlantic Ocean. These large flightless birds can be found in colonies in the region and are a common food source. A number of sailors in the area have recently successfully hunted a number of these birds and are offering to sell me the meat and eggs for a good price. This could be useful for my cooks in any upcoming feasts or gatherings. Can I buy both the meat and the eggs? Again, that's something I may have to possibly consider in the future. That we would leave this behind, knowing that the Dynasty Legacies is going to still stick with them. That they're going to get all these things. Especially a different faith kind of helps for those who are living in India. So we'll consider getting that next because this is part of Medieval Arts mod rather than these two, because this is both from the Iberian struggle and stuff because of that struggle there. That's the reason why that exists. Strategist. And I'll switch over to medicine focus and start getting all of these so he could be the longest lived ruler ever. Okay, back to it. This is about as much as it could build, but since we got mods now. So now we're going for public works, which we'll get that in 5 years. That's what we're exposed to. My men have learned from the survivors to siege of Harappa. Let these led away humiliating chains. That happens a lot. Now you can build these things. Just trying to remember some other people in the past. It's like, who's betrothed to what? Who's married to who? Who's going to inherit? And all that. Of course, we can't forget about those who live there, but they're on their last legs. So, unfortunately, the Sognsdal presence up in Moskva will soon be dissipating. So, my attempts to align own in my interests, I found an opportunity. I think I could argue that our goals here are in fact the same as I dictate my next letter. Just try to maintain subtlety. See too if I could befriend him. There are many reasons for me to apply to waters near Trondheim in times of peace, to show power, to dissuade pirates, even to simply fish or enjoy the sea breeze. We're on such a petty voyage when I spot the local vessel floundering in the distance. Even from here, it's clear that it's taken damage while out raiding. Its crews barely keep it afloat as they paddle out of water in with silver goblets and ceramicals. The sight would be comical if it weren't so serious. Stop and try to help them. And we done saved the crew. Come closer, I have a story to wish to tell you. My friend, Evog says, beckoning me towards the bonfire. It is the story of when I lost the war against Rava, Godwog of Woodland. Yes, smiled foe. She cracks her knuckles and continues to tell the stories of flames from the bonfire light the night sky. The ravages of war will test the metal of every night. Remember, real strategy requires cunning this time. Yeah. So again, I'm just brainstorming what I've been saying about Indo-Norse stuff down there when we sent our members of the Sognsdal dynasty down there. And they're going to be Jayans, all of them. The Norwegian people are famously fastidious clean. One of life's great delights is even hearing our horses' foes bitterly admit that no man's beard is ever better combed, no man's hair more regularly soaped, no man's face been scrubbed while clear blemishes that of a good Norseman. Today is bath day, but I feel as though a change of routine might do me good. After all, if all the Norse were well groomed, it does not behoove a Kamuga to be the best groomed. Hygiene is the key to the long life. This character keeps to an immaculate bathing schedule, washes their hands before meals, and always has a hot towel for guests. A massive health boost for the next 10 years. I'm sure Stefan's relationship with his spouse VIET is a very happy and productive one. But lately he has less and less time to spend with me. My dear friend, as their relationship deepens, every time I try to get him out for even anything simple as a walk, he is apparently tied down with marital duties. I miss the good old days when we could go out gallivanting around the place, drinking the finest spiced wine until we threw up, and to doing it all over again the next night. What times we had! If only that wretched, cold-hearted Brit was keeping us from having it again. I suppose we have both moved on, I guess. Okay, I was stretching. Now, again, I was just brainstorming possible ideas regarding the future of Crusader Kings and the Lord Master channel. Even though what I do these days outside of video recordings, outside of YouTube, I'm just pretty happy with what I do in life. Sometimes I take breaks every now and again, and I just go to my renewed sense of doing what I've always been wanted to do since I was 12 years old. My real passions. Yeah. I'm sure some of you people can relate to that. Especially to gamers, they think that's their whole life. For me, I'm not that kind of person. You just gotta, you know. Okay, you see here? I'm gonna go to there, and it's from Kent. Now it makes me wonder about that upcoming DLC in June or so. How do you travel from a place that is separated by the sea? I mean, boat travels. I'm sure we'll be seeing text of how boat travel works. I'll go to there. Preparing to travel to Outlet of Kent's Feast. I go down to the docks trying to charter a boat, but the captain tells you that due to the low tide, you won't be able to safely leave until tomorrow. I can make it worth your while. Ah! Shipwrecked, wounded. Okay, I'm here. There was a bit of a delay. That's something you ought to give the suggestions. Unless they've already wrote that all down in Paradox Interactive. Boat travel. And then, what happens during your travels that your ship gets wrecked? And all that. That's something they ought to consider. Just to make it more interesting. If they want to make their DLC more interesting than it kind of already has. Finger bones. A pattern cloak with dozens of bubbles and knickknacks sewn onto it rattles up to me. I have a magnificent of illuminated manuscript with a sculpted ivory cover adorned with turquoise beads. It contains the tales of a man and a woman in love. The carving is certain to impress Jotnang Adele, so she would never think again to lie with another. Oh, let me see that. Oh, this is a negative artifact for once. Passing from cuckoo to cousin throughout the ages, this tome is said to be the finest gift one could give to a spouse. At least the ivory figures on the cover seems happily married. Wow. There are just some things that you didn't know that could exist and would exist. Long ships are in many ways the heart of its power. Without the access to the sea, well, we are but trapped wolves, unable to hunt or roam. It is with no small amount of alarm that my latest inspection towards our stored boats showed many are beginning to molder and perish. They are carefully cleaned to hulls in danger of coming apart once returned to the water. It'll save a long term to pay for the best now. Excellent long ships. There you go. Made a friend. That is all the people need to know. Just 4 years now. And as a reminder, my reign began 10 years now, so we got 20 more years to go. So that means it'll be like 2 episodes. It'll take 2 episodes. I mean, I could increase the game speed further, but I don't really like that because sometimes something may happen and it'll be like, oh shit, I should have just slowed down and all that. Here, stand, the cat's got to go. My wife's holding Snow by the skin of his neck, eyes red and nose running. I can't stand this anymore. I can barely breathe when he's around. I will not give Snow away! Why am I raising my voice? After all, it's my cat. $80 for sending my daughter out to... Where? Norfolk. Okay, Norfolk. Not till next year, okay. Because I was beginning to wonder. Yeah. That's another thing. I mentioned boat travel. And before we talk about this issue here, yeah, boat travel. Like, say, what if you're a guy from England who wants to go on a pilgrimage to Rome or Jerusalem? Are they going to take the boat? That's another thing they ought to consider. I've seen Moldvar handle everything from bleachers to rotting bodies, but the discomfort on his face is something entirely new. As your physician, I am the guardian of your health, says, staring out at his shoes. That also includes your reproductive health. I could make a tincture that might help with you and your wife. I've also read about some experimental treatments and promising results. Look, the problem is I'm chaste, alright? And my wife is lustful. We don't go together. The simple tincture sheet said Trouble. The treatment was a success. And my child's returned. Okay, let's see now. Oh my god, I'm looking up on my phone just for a little bit for any other updates. A superstitious mind. The last time I saw your own, he is surreptitiously getting rid of my yellow hat because yellow is an unlucky color for people on my birth. Well, that time before I had to accompany him on a ridiculously long detour to avoid a black sleepy cat. It's unlucky, he says. I don't want to even remember the time he thought he lost his lucky amulet. Or as I catch him throwing away half of my precious salt because it's just been spilled, I feel my patience is wearing thin. Why are we friends again? It's all nonsense. Things have been pretty busy lately. Yeah, no kidding. I've been doing a lot of work, reviewing documents, and so on. Thinking about what to do in my realm and so on. It's all I ever think about. A few people told me perhaps just the best relax and take it easy. I should reduce my workload just for once. Stop right there. It's about that time. We're gonna send them out to the west and all that. Out of a beeswax. Uh, yeah. I was just reading something and something that just caught my attention. Where I'm like, oh, don't worry about that. Go hunt some whales. We gotta keep doing this. Keep going to Vinland. Hopefully, you'll get a better luck out of this. And I'll find out who's got the best skills out of all of them. We gotta support Greenland. I'll just do whatever you want. How about some food and livestock? So we've gathered a large shipment of foodstuffs and livestock in the green. Food like grains, fish, and so on to help with the Greenlands and once last through the winter. While the livestock would show the Greenlanders can continue producing for their food for years to come in their farmsteads. You better hope so. Otherwise, there's going to be hell to pay. Place of Benedict of Valdemar's daughter, at Overhaul, sad eyes, which grow larger, more pitiful as the crates also gently ushers towards my throne. Going out here once. The girl has been brought to the court with no one to watch over since the death of her dear papa. Please look to the future. What can be done with such a child? No fear, I shall raise the girl myself. The dance. Oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher this. Hey, Oya. The Oyave sent Osko and Provost Lennon march to my throne discotheque. Because my lord, I seek a modest peasant, comforting as my concubine. Her dancing is talk to all of Norway. Lennon constable. With long and ghostly reverie. This hysterical buffoon is a sad and jealous coveter. You'll have her. A land of barbarians. My lord, I regret to inform you that I'm the enemy Teta. Striker is clearly exasperated. The people are watched over, which I should rule, are an uncontrollable mob of unruly barbarians who have ridiculous customs and a terrible taste for food. All my efforts so far have been in vain, but it seems impossible to make the civilized people out of them. I'm afraid that a strong intervention from above is the only solution of them. Now you listen here. We respect the traditions around here. Wait, don't you know that our faith is pluralistic? Don't you know that? Okay, how much should we get? 152. Even though we do have other means to make money now. Especially our income has considerably increased. Received word that the shipment of foodstuffs and livestock has sent to Greenland safely arrived there. Though Greenland's remote settlements continue to do it. Given the harsh conditions of the region they're in, having extra foodstuffs and livestock has always been good short of difficult years they could potentially live down the line. Excellent. Hey, idiot. You forgot to name the explorer. I'm an illustrious man. That's good. Courtiers. Okay, look for some of our skills. Ah, yes, you've explored before, but you're a bit of a drunk. Oh, guess what? You are going out there again. If you do it successfully, I might vote for you. Yeah, sure. Flight has been actively supported FH and our independence faction. However, my wife has planned change. Trust me, the things that I could tell her would make her disavow her in an instant. There you go. There you go. Okay, now he's gonna be out again. This is my half-brother, but... Oh, that reminds me health-wise. My health is excellent. I am full of vim and vigor. Not to mention eating hotcakes. Safe journeys. Hope that it'll be a success. A messenger bird brings a message from Cole with an update about his expedition event. Apparently, according to his message, he found what looked like a promising harbor to anchor their ships. They scarcely begun to approach the coastline when many arrows flew out of nowhere at them. The crew immediately rushed to leave the harbor. Fortunately, Cole says they didn't have many serious casualties. Due to the frenetic and sudden nature of the ambush, Cole's crew only managed a few glimpses of their attackers. There are conflicting reports of what those attackers looked like. For example, some of the crew claimed that these attackers were strange, one-legged beings who humped around swiftly. But the others say the crew members misinterpreted the fierceness of their clearly human foes at the heat of the moment. Whoever those attackers were, they seemed dangerous. That's one bad outcome. I'm just waiting for the next event. Off you go. Oh, wait. There is another Sognsdal out there. Unfortunately married to another house. And so therefore they'll be merged in. And that's it for the Sognsdal over there. My cook asked me whether I prefer hard-boiled eggs or soft-boiled eggs. Well, hard. Stupid question. Stupid question. She's gonna drop one of these days. Hostile strangers. A messenger bird brings me a message from Carl with an update about his expedition to Vinland. In the message, Carl says that they arrived at a small harbor and encountered a group of strange people led by a certain Panache. The two sides tried to communicate at first, but violence broke out. And they're probably the same ones that attacked them before. Perhaps due to a misunderstanding, resulted in a few deaths on both sides. The strangers retreated for now. And Cole fears that they might return. Some of Cole's crew argued that they need to retreat as well, but others wanted revenge, or even try to steal from or kidnap some of these foreigners. I wonder what Cole did. Well, let's see. He is a man of diplomacy. He is forgiving, which is rather sinful in our faith, but he's callous and just, so he's a contradictory figure. So I would say, knowing him, maybe he tried to use diplomacy to make peace with the strangers. 100% guaranteed it makes peace. I continue reading the message. Some of Call's crew were skeptical about whether these foreigners would even want to talk after violence broke out. But Call reassured his crew that these people were clearly humans, and humans could be reasoned with. It turns out that he was correct. Call somehow managed to approach his Panache group and convince the foreigners that they meant no harm, and that this was all a terrible misunderstanding. Khan and Panache apologized to each other and allowed their respective subordinates to bury their dead. Afterwards, while things were still a little tense, as a sign of goodwill, both sides agreed to do a little bit of trading by exchanging various trinkets. In the end, Carl feels like that he and Panache come to respect one another. Panache seems like a good and fair woman. Maybe we should just simply defend our home and all that. That's what they were doing. You got it. What the? 30 gold. That's chump change. Yeah, that was bringing out my old Lord Master voice. What else happened on that trip? My hunters hunted more than just a walrus, it seems. It turns out they encountered a polar bear. Killing this majestic and powerful beast was no easy feat, but my brave, daring, mighty hunters managed to take it down, earning themselves fame and glory back at the Greenland settlements. The pelt of this polar bear is now in my possession. Now, on one hand, I could keep it for myself. On the other hand, given how priced polar bear fur as a luxury item in Europe and beyond, I could sell off to make it some money. It's an inventory artifact. If only if it was a court artifact, that'd be interesting to have. Polar bear pelt. No, you idiot, put that back on. It's this button. Now imagine that. This area here that you can see there, that's a polar bear. A messenger bird brings the messenger call with an update about his expedition to Vinland. According to this message, the expedition has met a setback, though he assures me it could have been worse. While they were sailing to a harbor with the intent of exploring the nearby area, one of the ships ran aground. The damage was severe enough that Carl gave the order to abandon the ship. He regrets to inform that the crew were demoralized by all this, but all the crew on the second ship had been moved to the surviving ships, and he still managed to salvage a good amount of the second ship's cargo and wood. He tells me the expedition will continue on regardless. Oh crud, this is a failure. That's the best you could do? So it's a large linen tapestry from a fine craftsmanship. Cloth depicts a hunting scene. Several hunters armed with bows and spears surround a wounded animal and are about to deliver the death blow. Well, imagine if that was me up in Greenland, bringing that polar bear down. Intriguing. I was just reading something else while we let the game run. Oh, what? My querying dog has approached me with worry expressions. My lord, I've grown increasingly concerned about this sword and the other disappears one. Might be too late to restore now, but not all is lost. If you allow me, I could bring it down into useful parts to be used in a future artifact. Reusing metals? So this character has melted a previous artifact and kept the raw materials. Might come in handy for a new weapon or armor. Never seen that option before. Go ahead. Even more health boost. Huge health boost. Right on. I believe we're almost to the next. In fact, we're about to. Unfortunately, this expedition was ultimately a failure. The expedition was beset by a number of calamities. Cal did at least do his best to explore the frontier region and find new resources as well as friendly locals. In the end, we did not acquire any lasting advantages of information that helped the Greenland colony. And the expedition might cost the Greenland colony quite a bit in terms of resource. Oh, the viability decrease. That's something I did not want to see. But you gained legends about Native Americans, which this character recently sponsored an expedition to the West Seas. The expedition had some encounters with the Native American peoples, or their material culture at least, and the stories and tales about what these people are, fascinate this character. Nevertheless, it's going to go back towards integration, which things will get good again. Let me seduce you. I would love to have another son. Another child, I should say. That couldn't go no. No mortal man can their death avert, and hope good words said there is no death. And if Fana nears, hoped shall they, their name brings cheers. The poem is mocked. You may not like it, well come with some better ones, jackass. I don't know why you say it in that manner, but I did. The further I delve into my studies, the more apparent the link between my mind and body becomes. Too much worry can make you sick. The mind is no stronger than its vessel. My wise friend, Thorn, swears that vigorous mood helps now keep him stressed in check. I've also read that the benefits of journaling to soothe anxiety. Now I have the athletic trait, which even more health boost. I'm gonna live up to the 100 with that kind, but it's all temporary anyway. I could live up to the 100 of these kind of health boosts. Look, that Dynasty Legacy, it's up to 7 now. Now the Chiefess of Mochkava. Converted to another culture, but it does not matter. And there's among other things as well. Oh yeah, that one from Brittany, I forgot about Brittany. There's 2 kings. There's me and... Oh, is Maharashtra now ruled by the Norse? Norwegian? No, not yet. In fact, look it up. Check the living members by rank. That's the other one. That's them, you idiot. No, they have not taken over parts of India yet. It hasn't happened yet. Calm yourselves. Now we're gonna go for patronage. Beauty and power are one and the same. So this is stone to marble. And unlocks the embellish a city decision chain. I don't have any cities right now, but once we go feudal, we will. And this would also help our dynasty members that go down to India and they will inherit the lands and they're gonna live there. Heck, they might even change their culture there. Because there ain't no way they're gonna syncretize with these people. So this is what this is. The Sognsdal name is now a mighty one. Commanding respect in the vast realm, the old court of Trondheim, though beautiful, full of memories, can no longer be considered its worthy home unless rebuilt. It's time to move on and truly embellish. You can only choose the city once. Once, mind you. So you'll be able to interact with the construction through several events. So it grants access to the next branch of embellished city decisions. The development will go up due to embellished city, which here will be chosen as preferred seat of the ruling dynasty, with the dream of transforming it to the greatest city in the world. Councilors will like it, and it's going to cost you quite a lot to do that. And plus, the amount of prestige spent for this, we haven't. But again, I'll do that decision when I go feudal. Tyranny war within the realm. What else? I'm gonna go check on Austria again. Regarding the health. Oh, he's doing fine. But they're all gonna grow up. So he's converted to Jainism now. Over there. As a scholar of the diplomatic arts, I'm well aware of the power of the eloquent compliment. Showing admiration for a woman's best qualities is a sure path to her. I shall write a letter to her, complimenting her. Unparalleled, breathtaking beauty. And it worked. It's like, yes, he's Norse now, but... Oh, Norse, god dang it. He's Norwegian now, but he's Jain. And he knows the language. Rajkumari. Oh yes, can't forget that they also come from the Tikkana. Yeah, down there as well. But however, that is not a I mean, that's from that, but it's trying to be born of his dynasty. But it does show that, yes, this is our kin, and they did change the culture. So they're already into it. And she gets to inherit, but lands, they keep. He's gonna stick around. So already our dynasty members that live over there are now starting to become Indianized. Yeah. I look down and see that my cat's now dropped the scroll of it. Still that my captain's Jarl's distinct style. Jarl got it. Distinct styles. Give it a chaos skin text. Give it a secret weight on it. Murder. He gets. I forget that the Courtiers woman is here. We'll end the episode soon. I'm actually gonna, call it, cut it short. There you go. That's the word you're looking for. You're gonna cut it short. So that way in the next episode we could focus more on, well, try to live long and don't catch any diseases. And then continue to rule until you will finally become the High King of the North Sea. Because in the next episode we're going to go raiding, because I have a bad feeling that the popular opinion isn't going to look too high right now, because they're getting tired of the pace here. So we'll probably get a move on soon. And we do need all the fighting men we can get. Oh, old school Norse. Not Norwegian. So we'll end the episode at the beginning of January. So, but first, some fishy business. It began as an occasional treat and unusual habit, but I'm a good Norseman. And what Norseman hasn't eaten some dodgy herring in its time? Over the last few weeks, though Tofi's delectation for utterly rotten finish has gone from tolerable idiosyncrasy to a pungent omnipotence. This morning, when I discovered what he'd done to the latrine, I decided I had enough. I found him in the hole, face soaked in Fotid Bryn, half of his eye leisurely dropped down his chin. Sit down. We need to talk. Put my point across delicately. Eloquently. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed this episode, as we will stop this episode right here, right now. Right here on January. It was a good talk just to try to catch up with you people if you have been sticking around with my series for so long, despite the fact that I'm kind of feel like I'm phasing out slightly. And why is it called Island? Polsky, what are you doing up there? Before we get out of here, Icelandic was your mother? Yeah. Inherited, as you can see, inherited. It's just out of all the people that would inherit Poland, inherit Icelandia, which I don't even know if that's the proper Polish name for Iceland, but if it is, then, well, I've learned something new today. Islandia. That sounds like a made-up nation in fiction. It's like, welcome to the country of Islandia. Or Islandia, or not us. I mean, I kind of caught off guard. No. Let me drink one more time. Again, we hope you people have enjoyed this episode. So, in the next one, we will continue the rule of our expected long-lived ruler, and eventually reach the 30th year of his reign, which, as a reminder, you people, he began his rule in 11th of April, 1005, which means it'll be 1035 AD. 1035 will be the year that the North Sea Empire will be formed, thus completing the last real major goal of this series. So we only got about, I say about an episode or two, possibly 3 to get there. But nevertheless, it's just I want to continue on for at least a couple of more episodes before I get bored of it. And maybe, who knows what these people will be doing down there. You know, for our kin down in India and all that. But we hope you people enjoyed this episode. Until the next one, so long for now.